Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to That's the Tea. Today we're doing something a little bit different than walking around a beautiful barn or a beautiful city. That sounds nice. Anyway, we're going to build our first ever gaming PC. I've never done one before, and I'm pretty excited, and I bought all the parts, as you can see here. We got the Phanteks Evolv case. We've got an 850 watt power supply. We've got the Corsair H115 IQ cooler and radiator. And we have the Asus ROG Republic of Gamers Maximus 13 Hero. I have a problem reading Roman numerals apparently. About 64 gigs of RAM, a little NVMe 2 hard drive, and a coveted, can't believe how long it took me to get this, RTX 3070 Ti Founders Edition card. Really excited to put this thing in here and get it all set up and done. So come along and let's see what's brewing with this computer. So the case I went with is going to be the Phanteks Evolv X in the color gray. This is completely 100% due to Random Frank P, who highlighted his case so much with the LEDs running down the front that I was like, man, that is an incredible looking case. Everything in the room around here is actually more of a slate gray stone, so I figured this case would actually work pretty well. When I unboxed it, it has just about the same color, so pretty excited. Comes with 2 fans in the front and 1 fan in the back, and controls on the front that allow you to adjust the LED lights, which I'm excited to turn on. All right, that's good. The motherboard we're going with today is more of a overkill motherboard, trying to future-proof myself just in case I wanted to get anything a little crazier. This is the Asus ROG Maximus 13 Hero, Wi-Fi 6, a lot of SATA ports. Should be a lot of customization that I can do with this beyond what I'm about to do with it. So board came highly recommended. Really excited to get this thing in there. And these are going to be the RAM we're going with today. It's the Corsair Vengeance Pro. It's going to be 64 gigs in total. That's 4 sticks of 16 gigs. So don't have to worry about the dual channel. It's all just going to be slapped in there, and it's going to give us a lot of RAM to play with, and hopefully that should do really well in video editing and gaming and all the things I'm going to try to throw at it. So that'll be a nice upgrade.
You'll have to cut that out, obviously, and that too. Okay.
Power supply we're going with is going to be an RM850X from Corsair, kind of keeping it in brand today. Corsair and Asus are going to be the things we're playing with, as well as the NVIDIA card. But the power supply is 850 watts, which by rule of thumb is about 100 watts more than you'd usually use. Kind of anticipated this to be about a 550 to 600 watt build. So again, along with the future proofing we're doing today with the motherboard, I figured this will give us some maneuverability in case we wanted to add things in the future. The cooler today we're going with is going to be the Corsair IQ H115i Elite. That's going to give us a little extra power in there and a lot more RGB to play around with. So we're going to have some lights in the front, lights in the back, and this should light up the top just fine. And we're going to put the cooler up inside and blowing out the top. Should look really great, and it sticks within the Corsair brand. So really excited to get this in today. All right, this is the missing piece that kind of started it all. I didn't want to start any of the computer buying process, putting it together, or even starting to buy the parts until I could get my hands on one of these cards. I was able to get notified via Wario64 on Twitter, who was letting people know that Best Buy was doing an in-person buying event where you could line up and get these cards. People started lining up at around 8 p.m. after the store closed, and I arrived at about 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, just to get there. And I was not the only one. I was about halfway down the building, but I finally was able to get one of these cards. And then afterwards, I was like, well, let's start buying the computer parts. And that happened pretty easily and quickly. So I'm really excited to put this in the machine today. So today I'm also using the Wow Stick 1F Plus, which if you watched any video on YouTube that someone's building something that requires a small screwdriver, they're usually highlighting the Wow Stick. It's a small battery-powered screwdriver, lots of torque, comes with tons of accessories. Just unboxed the magnetic mat for the screws, and these boxes contain all the drill heads, and I believe there's 4 boxes total, and they come in like a cylinder, and they got tons of accessories here. I'll show you one real fast. You can see the little bits inside, and they plug right into the top. Battery lasts for a good long while, and it looks like it's coming in real handy. So this is the guy. It's even got a little light on the front, a little charging port in the back, and so this is what we're going to be using to install the computer pieces today. I didn't stress it before. I hope I stress it now that this is the first time building a PC, and we may have just tried to install the cooler with the wrong size or the wrong end of the screws in the wrong way. So you'll see that in the video, but that's on me. But we're making some good progress. I mean, look, got the motherboard in, everything's there, it's mounted, and we're just about to install the cooler, so shouldn't be too much longer now. So we're unboxing our power supply here, and we first came across this novel. Huge, very thick. But here's the weird part. The important information is this little pamphlet. and yet somehow is in the world's tiniest font compared to the novel. Thanks, Corsair. Okay, so first boot is successful as we saw, and now we're jumping into the BIOS, make sure everything's working. The first thing we want to do, since we're using 64 gigs of RAM, is we want to go in here to the XMP profiles. On the ASUS board, it's the AI, the overclock tuner. We want to turn on XMP profile 1, which has changed my DRAM frequency, as you see on the top right, to 3200 megahertz. By default, when it loaded, it was 2100 megahertz, so you're basically only getting about a half or just over half of what it could be. So if any of you haven't done this before and you're using at least 16 to 32 gigs of RAM, you're going to want to enable this XMP profile, which we're doing here. So now we're going to start getting Windows loaded up and fired away, so let's get to work. Alright, so the surprise reveal of the extra component that I had mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention, but I thought I did. Is I saw a video the other day of someone putting a small monitor inside their PC case. And I was like, well, I don't need to really monitor too much of my, you know, how hot is it, how cold is it, yada yada. But through Wallpaper Engine, you can actually extend the monitor into the case and create something really cool. So I bought a monitor off of Amazon, 7 inches, usually reserved for like Raspberry Pis and such. It's touchscreen. And we're going to get this installed right now.